Hello and welcome to Intuitive Insights.
So today we're going to be talking about the 2022020 portal. It's really fascinating because this month specifically we had the 2-2020 portal with the twos and the zeros. And now we're being presented with another opportunity with those same numbers. But the energy is a little different, and it is correlated with the 2-22-2020 portal as well. So it's really amazing because we were kind of talking about it before in regards to the energies of this specific portal. And in our first video on 2-2, we had talked about how there was a lot of cycles that were being brought to our awareness to be clear, to create space for new things to come in. And now is the time when we're now in a space where, and I say we're in a space because if you're watching this video, then we're all resonating at the same frequency. So it's safe to say that we're all going to be going through the same things in regards to that. And so we're going to be, we are receiving now all the new energies that we created space for. So, and these things kind of came up, they came up in between the 2-2020 date and now. But what we've been noticing is that it's been a really receptive type of energy because Spirit is really asking us to be in that state of allowance to allow those new things to come in that we've been asking for, and consciously manifesting or even subconsciously manifesting, because your higher self is guiding you, guiding us whether we know it or not. And the clearing of those energies is for a purpose. But I remember us talking about how we needed to learn how to be comfortable in that void state. Yeah. And I definitely feel like that's been coming up, at least in my own life, being okay with not doing things and just allowing myself to be. So I mean that's like the basic energy of it. And then the timeline shifting as well, and that's why we brought up the timeline video, because we knew that this the timeline jump that we had been talking about, it's like, do you want to stay on this timeline, or are you ready to make the move towards this timeline? And that's based on perception and the life that you want to manifest, granted with the perception that you already are that. It's just a matter of becoming the master of your reality and then consciously manifesting that into the physical world. Because it's like and that actually brings up the 2222 with the master number, with the self-mastery. Because a part of being on this earth, in my perspective, from my own experience, is learning about self-mastery and how to co-create with my divinity. And that makes a lot of sense with the twos, because that's in the 22 in the mirroring, because it's all about what am I creating, and the world's reflecting to me my inner world. And then it's showing me how to be my the master of my reality. So that's pretty amazing how that comes out.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So,
yeah.
And then it's about balancing that stuff too, which is challenging for sure. But with a lot of the introspective that's being asked of us, like looking within and really seeing where we've been putting out our energy and what we've been choosing, and then taking responsibility for that energy, that also goes hand in hand with the mirroring of the 2222. All the twos and then the zeros, which amplify it. But those synchronistic numbers, which we're going to do another video on numbers and synchronicities and signs that you're coming into alignment with your divinity, because a lot of things, I feel like it's necessary to say, but a lot of times, at least for me in the beginning of my spiritual awakening, and I see them all the time now, granted it's become a normal part of my life, So I do get excited about it, but it's like, oh, okay, like it's normal in my world. But what happens is our awareness is brought to certain numbers, like the 2222, or seeing 333 on the clock, or 1111, and that's it's showing you that you're coming into alignment with your higher self and your divinity, and catching your attention and your awareness. So if you're noticing those synchronicities, that's a really good sign that you are on the timeline that you are consciously wanting to manifest as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that about coming into alignment with our higher selves, and that alignment and balance within ourselves.
Yeah.
That feels to me like a big energy that we've been going through, and I think that's somehow that is connected with this process that we've been going through, which I think over the next few days is going to be a bit more intense, of just kind of switching between timeline and timeline, and sort of finding which timeline it is that we want to anchor in and move forward from, which I believe is going to be kind of anchored in with the new moon energy that's coming up. So over these next few days, we're sort of slipping between all those different timelines and figuring out like where we want to be. And a lot of it, I think, ending up on the timeline that's appropriate and right for us is going to have a lot to do with that balancing and that mastering of our own energy, and coming into that balance and harmony within ourselves.
Yeah, which makes perfect sense with the twos, and I feel like that may be the reason why there's a lot of like intense like duality or polarity energies, like going from one extreme to the next, or feeling like, why am I feeling, so happy and joyful now, but then an hour later I'm like thinking about all these, depressing things, or quote unquote, these are just labels, but just to identify the energy, or like, denser energy. But to really clear it out of our systems, we need to feel it. So it's like it's coming up for a reason. So that we can purge those things out. And then it's like, then we're given the opportunity to choose, do I want to stay in this fear, this fear, or do I want to shift into a reality where I can perceive things as growth? And I just feel like for some reason Spirit's like kind of redirecting me in a way of being like, everything's based on perception. So when we're shifting in and out of timelines, we could be experiencing the same thing. Most likely we are experiencing the same thing, but it's based on our perception of it that's going to alter the reality of it. So it's like, if I'm experiencing some really sad emotions, but I'm viewing them as not good, or, not healthy, or, like my judgment upon them is very much based on my view on them is based on judgment. But if I'm viewing it as, thank you for coming up, thank you, I'm so grateful that I'm able to feel these feelings and allow them to come up, then that's what helps shift the reality and the consciousness of it. Yeah, because like as I was talking about it, I could like Spirit was like kept like redirecting me to be like, it's about perception, to bring it back internally, which makes a lot of sense. Because looking to outside things to validate, if my timeline has shifted, and it's like the ego wants all this proof, but shifting into different timelines is based on how we're feeling and how we're perceiving the world. And then the physical world has no choice but to respond to that. So, yeah.
Yeah. Because I could be experiencing the same exact situation, but depending on my perspective of that situation, I'm going to have a completely different emotional reaction to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's based on either our perceptions are based on our patterns that we were born into, or of something that we've adopted from someone else.
our beliefs.
Yeah,
our belief systems.
Yeah. So I feel like that's a part of the huge shift in this specific portal is our beliefs are changing.
Yes, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's so important because until we are able to identify, and this has been a huge thing, I think, that I've been pondering a lot lately is, you know, learning how to identify the beliefs that I do hold. Even if, and this whole idea too, which I just recently learned about, which is the fact that we can have dual beliefs.
Right.
So once I start not attaching to my old belief system anymore, I can formulate a new one, but still be partially attached to the old one, too.
Oh my gosh, I know. And it's like constantly having to redirect those the old belief into the new belief. Because that happened to me with organized religion as a kid.
Okay, yeah.
Like, the belief system was still there for like 6 or 7 years after I knew that it wasn't my truth.
Interesting.
But I kept having to redirect it to the new belief, which eventually became my core belief.
Yep.
But it still took things that are deeply ingrained like that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah. It takes a lot of time to shift out of that. And it takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of awareness.
Yeah.
You know, to really be aware. And that's a huge thing that I've been learning, you know, when we have emotional reactions to situations. It's this idea of looking at the emotions that I'm experiencing, the reaction that I'm having to whatever is going on, and thinking, what would I have to believe is true in order to be having this reaction to this situation?
Yeah.
And like really digging into, okay, so what is, even if it makes no sense, you know, because to my logical mind, a lot of my beliefs don't make sense anymore.
Right.
Because, like, you know, on a mind level, I don't believe them anymore.
Right.
But on a heart level, I still kind of do. There's still an attachment, or they're still working their way out of my system. So I really like that's, you know, a thing that we're working through that's shifting right now, because until that shifts, nothing else can really shift. Even when we're in that place of having a dual belief system, we can only manifest to a certain point because we still have those old beliefs too. So it's like we have a conflicting will. We want two things at the same time. We believe
and those essentially
things.
are the two timelines, too, if you really think about it.
Yes.
And shifting in between those two timelines. It's funny because we keep saying...
Oh, my God.
I know.
So we're basically going back and forth, and so it really feels like we're getting nowhere because we're kind of not in a way.
Yeah, but we are, because we're creating those new neural pathways in the brain and shifting that energy, like unweaving that. And then as that's unweaving, the other timeline, I say new, but it's not really new because everything's happening simultaneously always. Right. Yeah. But it's just because of our language. We have to refer to things
in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but that's so fascinating because it's the twos, the 2-2-2-2 portal, and then today the 2-2-2-2 portal again, and then we keep talking about two timelines. It's like, why do we keep talking about only two timelines? Yeah. I just thought about that.
Yes.
That's so funny because there's so many, but why do we keep bringing up two? You know, which makes perfect sense.
Yeah, the old and the new.
Yeah.
The whole group of timelines that's connected to our past conditioning and belief systems, and, you know, our, you know, for lack of a better term, more unawakened selves, and the whole set of newer timelines that are connected to this higher expression of ourselves, these new beliefs that we're, you know, this new energy that we're co-creating with the universe.
Yeah, because like that's all about like co-creating with the universe. That's like my universe supports me versus the world's out to get me. I'm unsupported. This life is hard. This life is challenging. But then the perception, which shifts the belief, then it's into like I'm supported by the universe. That's when those synchronicities start coming in. That's when like random things when you're like thinking about someone and they call you or like I really want this job, and then you get an email or like you're thinking about something and you see it online, or you know, like that's like the things that happen in this new consciousness, this heart-centered consciousness that we're all moving into. So it's like that's what's really coming in for us now in this receptivity, and on this specific day is that energy. I knew it would come through.
We were a little worried because, well, not worried, but, you know, sometimes we just can't really wrap our heads around what even it is that we're going to talk about when we come on here until we start having the conversation. It's like Spirit's like, no, you don't need to know all that stuff.
It's so
You're just
weird.
going to start talking and it'll come out organically.
It's so weird because we always try and talk about it before. Or, like, we like to talk about it before together, but it never comes out this clear. When we're having a regular conversation, I'm like stuttering. I'm like, it won't come through. Like literally, it's like I'm shut off from it until we're meant to share it with all of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it is meant for us, but it's meant for all of you as well. Because I'm in a position of wanting to be of service, you know, to the world. So it's like, Spirit's like, no, you just do what is being asked of you. And
so I really like that this came up because I think another video that I'd really like to, that I think we're going to do at some point is going to be just around beliefs and like how do you identify and shift those beliefs, because it is such a huge energy, and once you do that, you know, because that's what directs everything. Like the beliefs are the subconscious aspects, you know, the subconscious things that the programming that determines everything that we do on a conscious level, and influences energetically everything. Yeah. So it's huge. But I think the really cool thing about all of this ascension energy and everything that goes on is like, we can talk about it and we can really, you know, we're both highly intellectual, which probably a lot of you watching us are as well. You know, so we like to get in our heads, we like to try to figure things out and understand things and do all of this. But even if we don't understand what's happening, it's organically happening anyway. Yeah. So we're just giving voice to what we're all experiencing anyway.
Yeah, exactly, which allows for me and whoever I'm guiding in this process to be able to trust a little bit more in what's going on, and maybe not, like we talked about in the very first video or first couple ones that we talked about, how we're like, you don't have to feel alone in what you're going through, because it can feel really scary to let go of those belief systems because that's what the ego identifies with, and it's like, without that, then who am I? And then if someone isn't, at least from my own experience with family and my own self, and from what I've seen, when the loss of identity happens because the loss of a deeply ingrained belief system, without some form of guidance in that, who knows, you know, what could happen. And it's just, so it's nice to put these videos out to tell people, like, this is a beautiful thing. Like, you are amazing and strong, and allow yourself to receive, you know, versus being like, oh my God, like, what's happening to me? I'm going crazy.
It's scary, but it's so good. Yeah, the whole time you're talking about it, and you know, it's this. It can be this really terrifying, jarring process. Yeah. But you know, I'm just sitting here smiling, like, I know. Oh, that moment when you lose everything and you have no idea who you are. It's so precious. That's the perfect place to be. You know, because then we get to learn. We become willing. Remember. Yes. Yes. We get to remember who we really are once we forget everything that we've been taught we are.
Oh my God, I love that so much.
Yeah. So it's just,
that's so amazing, and that's what I feel is happening with the people, with all of you who are watching this video. Whenever you find it, it's like, give yourself a pat on the back. Like, you are doing such amazing work. And like we've talked about before, and I will say it over and over again, you're not just healing yourself, but you're healing your ancestral line, and you're healing everyone around you. Yeah. And because as you shift, everyone else is shifting around you. Yeah. So to take the lead in that and to show the way takes great courage and great strength, and you are amazing and so strong and so fucking powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fucking huge. So, you know, give yourself a pat on the back. Cut yourself a little bit of slack. Yeah. You know, I mean, this can be a really intense, confusing process. Sometimes it feels like we're moving backward, when we're growing the most. And we always talk about it, just being compassionate and being gentle with yourself, and knowing that, like, it might not feel like it, but you're doing amazing work.
Yeah.
And some days that work just looks like showing up.
Yeah, for me it does, definitely. I have days, I say this with the intention of letting you know that you're not alone in it. It's like, there are days where the best that I can do, it changes. Like, the way that I show up and my best looks different every day.
Yep.
You know, and honoring that and being like, this is what I need, and this human is my responsibility, and to love this body that I was given, because from my belief system right now in this point in time, this is such a pivotal moment in our evolutionary process. And there are so many other factors that come into play, but just the fact that you're here in a body proves that you are so powerful and so strong, and that you, for my own belief, this, just to say it again, but like, I believe that we were chosen, and we chose to come here during this time of great transformation.
Oh yeah.
And it just takes such a powerful being to go through something like that, because of the shift and paradigm that's happening at a collective level. And there's no words to describe how amazing that is.
Yeah.
So.
It is, you're spiritual warriors.
Yep. Exactly.
We all are, and it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, so we're gonna pull some cards for the portal. So also I want to bring up how we have the 2/22/2020, and then today is 2/20/2020. So what we were feeling is that the opening of the portal was on 2/2/2020, and this is the closing, and we're going to be receiving a lot of DNA activations, and receiving a lot of like physical validation in regards to like the anchoring in of this new timeline. I'm really feeling like that stuff is going to be coming in to soothe the ego, basically soothe the mind, and allow it to trust a little more in this process. So that also being said, that there could be a lot of ascension symptoms that we talk about, like maybe the sleep schedule's messed up, appetite's changing, the body, as it's receiving those light codes and activations, our bodies, and the alchemical process that happens to the body when it's anchoring in more light and releasing stagnant energy in the physical body and the emotional body and the mental body, then it naturally purges it through getting colds, or right, or like for me, like my go-to ascension symptom is insomnia. I don't sleep when I'm receiving activations. I cannot sleep, which is super frustrating, but I've accepted it now. So I'm just like, okay, because my perception's changed on it. It's not so much like this, sometimes I get frustrated, obviously, but then I'm like, okay, I know what's going on here, or I'll meditate, or whatever. I feel like doing paint, which has been recent, but it's like, yeah, I wanted to bring up with the DNA activations that the ascension symptoms would definitely come into play, and if they're not, then that's amazing. Doesn't mean that you're not gonna have light codes come in. It just means that you don't have them. Everyone's different, but I like to bring it up.
If not, then good for you. Try not to be jealous over here.
I mean, maybe a little. All right, Spirit. So can we please we are using the Keepers of the Light Oracle cards by Lily Moses. And we're going to see what the Ascended Masters have to say for all of you for this portal. This portal date 2/20/2020 to 2/22/2020. So
Horus. Yeah, buddy.
Which is this is the Eye of Horus.
Yep.
I just recently did some research on it. The Eye of Horus is when the line is on the left side. And then the Eye of Ra is when the line is on the right.
Oh.
So
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So Horus, cosmic gateway, the gateway, right?
Yep.
Your thoughts are magnetic and powerful. Miraculous changes are occurring. So that just shows, again, the synchronicity. So that's why I was feeling like Spirit's really going to bring in a lot of physical validation for people, because it's so much easier. Sometimes we need that as humans. Like, we really need the tangible proof. Like, I know for me, I do, when I'm, like, losing faith or, you know, that happens. It's like, then all of a sudden Spirit will show me, you know, 222 on the clock.
Oh, yeah. So you mean like the synchronicities and these signs.
Yeah, and they're like emails, or I don't even know what it's going to look like. It's going to be different for everybody. But if you were hoping for something to come through, that might come through. If you're waiting to hear from someone or a job or a person, I just feel like it's physical.
Okay. Yep.
Because this validated that too, because we're both wearing Horus, and then the Ascended Master card that came out was Horus. It's like Spirit's like, it's right in front of your face.
And we're talking about the portal. It's the cosmic gateway.
Yeah.
It's so great.
All right, Spirit. One more? Yep. Okay. Which one came out first? These two. All right, so we got Master Jesus, forgiveness. You are on the path of light, love, and forgiveness. Father, healing is possible at this time. Yeah, so that's a part of releasing a lot of that energy that you no longer want to hold on to anymore, and the shifting the timelines is forgiving people and knowing that they did the best that they could with what they had. Yeah. And especially in regards to parents, like a father, this is coming up for somebody, that it's like they did the best that they could with what they had. And not only that, but again, for my own belief system, is that I chose my parents before I was born to learn certain lessons, because that helps me take responsibility for my energy and not play the victim in that timeline. So it's like just forgiving people and knowing that they're operating either from their own traumas and they're in pain, or just, you know, forgiving them for your own, you know, for your own well-being, and releasing the need to know why or anything of that nature.
Yeah, and forgiving ourselves too.
Yeah. It's a big one. So.
Yeah.
All right, so we got Divine Director. Invention and purpose. Divine intervention is occurring. Know that you are being guided. Happiness is your purpose. And that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I think we were talking about divine timing.
Yeah.
Earlier too, and there's a lot of that at play right now. Yep.
Yeah, and divine intervention. So what I was feeling with that as well was that if there was a situation where something, I feel like it's like divine intervention, like the divine steps in and it's like, okay, well, I'm going to do this for you then.
Yep.
You know, you're going to have the opportunity to do this for yourself. And if not, then I'm going to step in and give you a little helping hand.
You know, and that's the beautiful thing, right? Is like when we can learn to get into that space of trusting and allowing, it's like we can't really fuck anything up.
Yeah.
Like we can, I don't want to say try. Yeah. I mean, we can, you know, use our free will, and we can make decisions and choices. But if there's a path that's meant for us, or there's lessons that we're supposed to learn, or there's things that, you know, things that are meant for us to experience, like we will be guided back to that.
Yeah.
And that will happen regardless of, you know, I think we can prolong the process by continually making decisions to kind of like put ourselves on, you know, to like, you know, Spirit keeps trying to move us onto this timeline, and then we make a choice that pops us over here, and then it pops us back. Like we can keep resisting that process as much as we want, but like everything's going to come back around, and we can never miss the things that are meant for us.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just having trust and faith in that, and just being like, you know, what's for me will always be for me.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a really good place to be.
It's a beautiful place to be.
It's very
a beautiful
freeing.
place to be. And sometimes when we're allowing the divine to work in our lives, it may seem like nothing's happening. You know, so it's also just having that trust and faith that like there's always things happening behind the scenes in the ether that like we can't really know or see.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that happens a lot too. Because there are certain things we're not meant to know. And that's a part of the self-mastery too. And building that connection to your divinity is trusting in that divinity.
I feel okay. So the vibe that I'm getting from these cards right here is that through the act of forgiveness, whatever that specifically means for anybody watching this, is how that divine intervention is going to happen and occur. That's opening the doorway for that. Yes, that's opening the gateway for that divine director to come in and intervene and reconnect them with their purpose. So, like, the forgiveness piece is huge.
That's, like, the key.
It's huge. It is, yeah. We've been talking about the key.
I know, the key!
Yeah, that's the key right now. That is the key, is the forgiveness. And Master Jesus, Yeshua, he is a really, really great person, ascended master, to call on for help in that forgiveness process. So if we're having trouble forgiving ourselves, if we're having trouble forgiving anybody else in our lives, Jesus can really help with that by calling on him and asking him for aid in that process. And it's bringing in that energy wherever that is needed is like, that's what sets all of this in motion.
Yeah, and then that's also a part of the beliefs and the shifting process too. It's just the forgiving.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Wow. I love that. Okay, so we have Hilarion. Is that how you say it?
I like it. We'll go with
Hilarion.
Hilarion. I like that.
I know. Thank you,
no
Kansa.
disrespect.
I know. So we have divine healing, which is cool because it's right at the heart with the green, the heart chakra. So we have honor your sensitivity, retreat to recharge and heal. Your light can support others. I mean, that actually, well, that's a lot like the hermit card too, because it's very much go within and heal. I mean, forgiving yourself has a lot to do with the heart chakra too, and forgiving others. So there's some sort of heart awakening that's happening with that in the cosmic gateway. Is there's like a heart chakra activation, which is funny because my yoga class is heart center theme.
Nice.
Yeah. So that actually fits perfectly.
Well, it's all about the heart.
Yeah.
It's all about the heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, the heart is the cosmic gateway.
Yeah, it just emanates such powerful energy. I forget exactly how much more powerful it is in the mind, but it's at least 2 times stronger than the mind. Do you know?
Oh yeah, you mean like the electromagnetic? Oh
yeah,
at least it's more powerful than any other organ or
So when we feel things,
and the more we focus on our heart energy, the more we increase the electromagnetic energy surrounding our heart.
Yeah, that makes sense. Then we have Lord Shiva, transcendence. Rise up, honor your inner force. Steps are being given. Dance with the universe.
Ooh.
Transcendence.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. Cosmic gateway, transcendence.
Is Shiva the twin flame of Kali?
I thought the same thing, but when I was in class, they said no.
Oh,
I forget her name because I thought the same thing, but I don't believe Kali is his twin flame.
Shakti, maybe.
No, that's Shiva and Shakti. No, it's something else. I don't remember. I don't remember the gods, all the gods in Hinduism, but Shiva is a twin flame, anyways. And I know that we did talk a lot about healing. Patterns in relationships and allowing those new things to come through. So obviously that came out for a reason, and we had talked about that briefly too. Transcending like the relationship dynamics to allow a different perception of what a relationship will be and look like in the fifth dimensional heart-centered consciousness, and experiencing unconditional love with another in a healthy, balanced way. So that actually makes a lot of sense with honor your sensitivity, retreat to recharge and heal with the heart chakra. And then the allowing those new things to come in, those new energies.
And it's, it says steps are being given. Honor your inner force. And if you can see in the card, he has that third eye is very pronounced in that photo. You can see, so it's like those steps and that guidance is being given through the intuition, through what happens when you go into this quiet space.
Yeah, and then the Eye of Horus represents the third eye too. And we just happen to wear both those today. So it seems fitting that is how that information is coming through. So
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's it. I don't really feel like anything else is coming through, do you? For the portal?
No, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah. So yeah, if you would like a personal reading, I do tarot card readings, past life readings, and look into Akashic records, relationships, jobs, anything basically that you want. I ask your higher self and my higher self to communicate with each other and channel through me, and give you the messages that you need to hear for your highest good and your soul's evolution. So there's a link below if that's something that you would be interested in. Just send me an email, and we can do it through we can do a live video or recorded or in person if you're local. So
yeah. Yep. And if you are interested in energy healing, my information's in the description box below as well. It can be a great way to really help open up that heart energy and tap us into that space of unconditional love for ourselves and others, and just really anchor in and expand on that energy. So yeah, get in touch with either of us, and happy 2020 portal and on.
Exactly.
Yeah, just embrace the journey. Really get into that, that space of forgiveness and that space of unconditional love for yourself and for everyone. We're all on this journey together, and it's always messy. It's never, nobody does this perfectly. It's a spiritual awakening. It's a
intense.
Rocky, intense process sometimes, and we're all doing the best we can.
We are.
And it's just, taking that time to hold space for ourselves and for everyone else going through this journey, and just knowing that just loving everyone, loving each other, loving ourselves for where we're at. And like Kayla said, the fact that we're all on this journey is so powerful and so beautiful, and you are so powerful and so beautiful and so brave. Whether you feel that way or not, you absolutely, absolutely are. And so thank you for everything that you do. Because every little piece of healing that we do for ourselves influences the collective. It's never, we're all connected. We're all connected. So everything that we do for ourselves, we do for everyone else too. And the most powerful healing sometimes that we can do is that work on ourselves. So thank you all for doing that.
Yeah, and we love you so much.
Yes.
And we also, if you even if you just want to talk or you need to reach out to somebody, you can always email the both of us. We're here to support each other. And we love you so much.